I thank God Almighty for blessing me with this opportunity. I am truly honored to be part of this wonderful seminar, and I express my heartfelt gratitude to all the members of Doha International Family Institute. Qatar has experienced tremendous economic growth in the past decades, and the country has largest gas reserves and provides high standard of living to the citizens. In order to promote tourism, the country has invested billions to improve the infrastructure. The population in Qatar is less than 20 lakh and 80% lives within the central city. Basically, Islamic culture is predominant in Qatar and it is very less influenced by westernization. Though the material culture in Qatar is westernized, the non-material aspects are still traditional. In recent decades, there has been changes in the educational status of women. Men engage in public sphere more actively than women. The schooling in Qatar is gender segregated, but women have contributed much in the educational field. Also, statistics shows that 52% of the total workforce in Qatar are women. They are contributing in various services as education, health, tourism, etc. And about the status of women's contribution in decision is not at all considered relevant in Arab world. According to the customs, parents have to seek the consent of daughter before fixing the marriage, but the girl is expected to give that choice to the parents by saying as you like. Women also face discrimination in the area of marriage, divorce, inheritance, etc. Very few women work outside home, and most of the women are good homemakers. The greatest barrier in women's freedom is a concern of women's safety and greater importance given by the society for the purity of women. An individual member is responsible to maintain the family status, and any kind of negative behavior will reflect in the family name as well. There has been tremendous transformation in the status of Arab women as a result of globalization and westernization. Women are breaking the traditional conventional role and stepping into areas equal with their counterparts. The present study I am focusing on the intergenerational changes in the decision-making process of Arab women. And the study focuses on the following objectives as to analyze the intergenerational difference in the decisions regarding education, to understand intergenerational difference in decisions regarding marriage, to find out the intergenerational decisions regarding family budgeting, and also to analyze the decision-making process of women regarding food preparation and purchase. And the methodology of the study is quantitative cum qualitative analysis, and I use here comparative descriptive analysis. Interview method was used and data was collected from 100 respondents through snowball sampling. And the sample populations were married women of 2 successive generations, and the study offers in-depth analysis of and interviews with the women in Qatar. And data was collected, coded and analyzed using SPSS. And about the demographic data of the respondents were from new generation and from the old generation, and the educational qualification of the respondents were the respondents had school education, 51% had only school education, and 26% had graduation, and very few had post-graduation. And of the respondents, 76% of the respondents were from joint family and 24% were from nuclear family. And 65% of the women are unemployed, and 35% of the respondents were employed. And most of the employed women are involved in teaching and other clerical jobs. About the first objective, intergenerational decision-making difference regarding the education, young women prioritized education as a prime aspect, and 92% of the respondents said that education has a role in their life, whereas 50% of the women from old generation have not realized the importance of education. The women from younger generation said that they do not had any difficulties in achieving education, and 56% from the women from old generation said that they had difficulties in achieving education. And they said that the factors that they couldn't get education was the financial difficulties of the parents, lack of motivation, early age at marriage were the reasons that they said. And the women from younger generation had opportunity to take decision about their education. But the women from old generation were submissive to the patriarch, and 80% of the women from new generation were allowed to take decisions regarding education, and whereas the women from old generation were not allowed to take decisions regarding the educational patterns. The study also revealed that 56% of the respondents from the younger generation dropped their education after marriage, and 44% continued their education. And from the women from old generation, 68% dropped their education after marriage, and 32% continued their education. Most of the women dropped their higher education after marriage as they were submissive to the husband. While comparing younger generation, they are more involved in the decision-making process. And regarding the second objective, intergenerational changes in the decision-making regarding marriage, while comparing the new generation and the old generation, 70% of the women from old generation accepted maids according to their parents' preferences, and 30% said that their marriage was arranged according to their consent. 64% of the women from old generation had the opinion that their parents should select the maids for the children, whereas 73% of the women from younger generation preferred joint consultation. Majority of the women from both age groups do not prefer cross-cousin marriage, and 64% of the women from old generation had the opinion that the parents should choose their maids, and most of the women from both generation didn't prefer dowry because it is a matter of prestige to the family. 84% of the women from new generation said that they do not prefer to be submissive to their husband, and from the old generation, most of them preferred to be submissive. All the respondents from the younger generation preferred divorce if husband and wife cannot get along with each other, whereas the women from old generation were submissive to their husband. Regarding the third objective, intergenerational decisions regarding family budgeting, the women from new generation responded that the husband and wife should take decision jointly, and whereas most of the women from old generation responded that their husband decided family budget. 72% of the women from new generation said that they are allowed to use their income, and 28% said that they are not allowed to use their income even if they are having work. The women from old generation are economically deprived, and 78% said that they are not allowed to use their own income. Regarding the intergenerational decisions regarding food purchase and food preferences, the women from both generations are equally empowered to take decisions at home regarding food purchase. And 44% of the women from old generation said that their husband shops the essential, whereas women from younger generation said that they themselves shows the essentials. 68% of the women from new generation and 48% of the women from old generation said that they are not allowed to travel alone. 86% of the women from old generation said that their husband restricted freedom. And these were the main findings of the study. And to conclude, in family, men and women should play an egalitarian role because it is essential to the socialization of children. It is clear that women possess low decision making compared with men, but there has been intergenerational changes in the decision making process of Arab women. Comparing younger generation and old generation, younger women prioritized education as the prime aspect, and old generation prioritized family name, prestige, etc. The old generation had constraints in getting education because of early marriage and financial difficulties and so on. While taking decisions, old generation preferred to be submissive to the patriarch, whereas the women from younger generation are better educated, ambitious and confident. They have expressed their preferences and choice. Most of the women preferred divorce if marital adjustments are there, and women from both generations are equally empowered to take decisions regarding food purchase. The younger generation prefer egalitarian role in decision making, but the patriarch or the male members restricted the freedom of movement. And recommendations are women should reach out more. Definitely education liberates women, and women have liberal views. Women who are educated have liberal views about family relations, marriage, etc. Involvement in employment will definitely empower women. English education and co-ed pattern of education will definitely help the women to come up in social ladder. Compulsory education and scholarship programs will definitely increase the involvement of women. Other recommendations are flexible work and education environment. Through part-time jobs, young mothers can attain financial benefits. Special reservations for employment will motivate women. And legal reforms, creating awareness about women's rights are some of the solution. Political and social involvement will definitely improve the status of Arab women. Thank you.